We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, you start trying to regulate thoughts, you start trying to regulate beliefs rather than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Charlie Rose with Norah O'Donnell and Gayle King in New York. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Charlie Rose with Gayle King, Norah O'Donnell, and John Dickerson. CBS News, New York.
Are we on the air? Let's go right now, ladies and gentlemen. California and the nation are presently experiencing an all-out escalated nuclear war. We are being told the Russians have launched a preliminary first strike initiative against the United States. Chinese forces are also believed to be involved in this surprise attack on the United States. We do not know if North Korea launched any of their missiles, but nothing is impossible.
This is the emergency alert system. Do not turn off your television. Please keep watching for additional information that will shortly be given from the Office of Homeland Security or this local television or radio station. Again, do not turn off your television. This is not a test, this is a real emergency taking place. This is the emergency alert system. Do not turn off your television. Please keep watching for additional information that will shortly be given from the Office of Homeland Security or this local television or radio station. Again, do not turn off your television. This is not a test, this is a real emergency taking place. This is the emergency alert system. Do not turn off your television. Please keep watching for additional information that will shortly be given from the Office of Homeland Security or this local television or radio station. Again, do not turn off your television. This is not a test, this is a real emergency taking place.
We're going to a shot from Air Force One. They say they are leaving Washington airspace and escort fighters are trailing the aircraft. What's happening? Oh no, our great dictator's plane has been hit with an EMP blast wave from a thermonuclear device. Oh no, no. Ladies and gentlemen, the last word we received was that our great dictator, Barack Hussein Obama, was apparently lost in this nuclear detonation over Washington. If we learn confirmation of this information, we'll let you all know as soon as possible. However, even more shocking news has been received from the Middle East. According to NBC News in Cairo, Egypt, the Saudi Arabian government has just announced that the Russian Federation has also attacked Mecca and Medina. No video has been received via satellite as yet, but we'll air this as soon as we receive it.
We interrupt with this news flash. Barack Hussein Obama, our great dictator and world leader, has been identified at the crash site of Air Force One just outside Virginia. According to first reports, all were killed on board in exception of Obama, the only known survivor. All the world is in a state of utter disbelief over this astonishing announcement from the United Press International. As to the rest of the Obama family, we have no evidence that Michelle or their children survived. Only Obama himself walked away from the aircraft unharmed. How, we don't know. We aren't able to get video coverage at the present time because of excessive radio activity. Only some cellular sites are operating in the outlying areas around major cities. As more information comes in, we'll break in with any new developments.
Mecca is the birthplace of Islam, where the infamous Black Rock is located. This is where all Muslims must make a pilgrimage at least once in their lives, to walk its lengths and give total allegiance to Allah and Muhammad. Medina is also another historic site in the Islamic religion of importance. As we have learned, the Holy Bible mentions that such areas in the Middle East would be targets by the ruler of the North or Russia during the Great Tribulation. We aren't sure if the Saudi government ever made plans for a nuclear assault on their nation, but from all evidence we have heard, they were not expecting anything like this. Russia made a pact with the Iranian people some 100 years ago which exempted any possible attack from Russian forces. As a matter of fact, only Western nations like America were on the list of probable targets should any nation other than an Islamic State attempt to attack another Islamic State. Israel is the only other nation that the Islamic groups hate even more than America. We're going now to Yosemite National Park. This was a few minutes ago after a nuclear explosion was witnessed by an NBC News crew who were there to report on wildfires. The entire area was engulfed with flames from the flash of the explosion from approximately 40 miles away. All we know is that they lost control of their van and no other information has been received since then. This was about 30 minutes ago, according to our New York studios. Because of radiation, no crews are allowed out at the present time because of danger to the men and women who normally risk their lives bringing these stories to your living rooms. No other information as yet from the Office of Homeland Security. Local government FEMA offices are still accessing the situation to give updates on radiation levels. Here at 11 Alive in Atlanta, we'll be updating that information as soon as we receive IT from GEMA or the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. Attention all viewers. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration have made the unbelievable announcement just in the past 5 minutes that an asteroid undetected by the Hubble telescope has already entered the Earth's gravitational influence and is expected to impact somewhere in the continental United States within the next 2 hours. How this could happen, no one knows. Another type of planetoid was detected moving around the Sun last year, but they didn't feel it would reach the Earth. They are calling this asteroid Wormwood after the fabled biblical account in Revelation because of its unexplainable appearance from nowhere. All civilians should seek immediate shelter wherever you live. No one believes we can survive this impact, but for certain, the ocean's life will most likely be existent after this happens. We are expecting an outcome similar to the Ice Age some 3 billion years ago when the dinosaurs were killed off. Earthquakes are expected shortly as the asteroid enters the atmosphere. All citizens, take cover now. To correct my earlier statements, all marine animals in the oceans of the world will become extinct very soon. If you still believe that animals are more important than human life, I suggest you cradle your pets now because all forms of life will be affected by this global event that is about to take place around the world. In the future moments we have, according to the Bible, it says that 1/3 of all life will be snuffed out when the fresh water will be polluted by this impact. Any human life left will most likely survive underground somewhere, but not above where we are presently. We'll continue broadcasting as long as we can. Until all power is lost, we'll continue giving any new information we receive from FEMA and the Office of Homeland Security.
Come until me, all who hunger and thirst, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come until me, all who suffer oppression and are afflicted, and I will give you peace.
Hey, that we Jesus Christ I just saw on our screens. He has returned for his church, his bride. What a great moment in human history this is. NASA is advising all media outlets that smaller meteors are also expected prior to impact of the actual asteroid itself. We don't foresee any hope for the human race but one, Jesus Christ. We just saw him appear on our screens. There are reports coming in at present of massive disappearances around the world. In America, millions have simply vanished. According to FEMA, it happened just as the image of Jesus Christ appeared on our television screens. We heard a statement he made and then nothing else. He vanished from the screen himself and then this happened. This is a nightmare like nothing the world has ever witnessed or experienced in human history. We have a nuclear war going on all around US, a massive asteroid about to hit the Earth which will cause a global ice age. This should put every global warming activist in their place. Our world is facing extinction in a relatively short time, and now we see the real horror of this world. Socialism, communism, and now total annihilation? In the few seconds we have, this should be noted. Society had become totally complacent and uncaring of the simplest things, human lives. Humanity became procrastinators of their own folly. Doing whatever made them happy, whether they cared if that were right or not didn't matter to them. Society was doomed from that time, and today we see the results of ignorance to responsibility. Whatever happens, ladies and gentlemen, we deserved this. We did this to ourselves by denying that God is our only hope for a future. Now, the atheists and the degenerates have destroyed this world for all. But you can still accept Jesus Christ as your Savior right now wherever you are. He is humanity's only hope for tomorrow. Telemetry shows the asteroid is now entering the troposphere. We're getting reports from our correspondents in the field that earthquakes are being felt in Atlanta, Bangor in Maine, in Damascus, Moscow, Morocco, Manila, Guam. This is endless, hopeless to continue. I'm Andrea Mitchell for NBC News. Be safe anyone watching this broadcast.
In accordance with the Federal Communications Commission and the Office of Homeland Security, this network is now leaving the area. The forthcoming announcement from the Office of the President of the United States will advise the nation of what to expect in the next few minutes. Please stand by. In accordance with the Federal Communications Commission and the Office of Homeland Security, this network is now leaving the area. The forthcoming announcement from the Office of the President of the United States will advise the nation of what to expect in the next few minutes. Please stand by.
You honor US with your presence, oh great one, oh great Obama. Oh great dictator Obama, what's going to happen?
Well, let me say right now, this is an ongoing emergency, so I'm not going to kid any of you about the gravity of the situation we face. I'm speaking right now, as you all know in the press, from a secret bunker near the NORAD facility. This all looks really grim, but remember who I am. This is all going to work out fine, no matter what the Christians say. I'm hunting them down right now, and I won't rest until all are in submission to me.
Oh great one, we were all led to believe that this was an overall part of your global government instigation plan. That all in America would accept you only if and when a nuclear exchange began. This would make all nations submit to you, oh great dictator. How can this help us now when our entire nation is being destroyed while we speak?
Well, how can I say this in a less than slanderous way? You're a woman, so this is the only way I can explain what is happening to a gender with limited intelligence. The more chaos I create, the faster my new world order becomes a reality for the other nations of the world who are still under the guise that freedom and liberty can coexist with communism. The greatest nations in the world are attacking US right now. When the exchange ends, communism will be victorious. Then all I've been saying over the past 10 years will be true. Do you see now what I've been doing?
Oh great dictator, do you not remember the promise you gave to every woman in this country? You gave us the right to condemn all men and force their acceptance of our superiority. Most don't remember that this philosophy was known as radical feminism. I know from what happened that we were able to permeate even Muslim countries where they were never even able to vote, drive, or live as equal to men until our radical views were intruded there. Now I see this all was an ends to a means. Your means, to expand the global agenda for a new world order to the ends of the earth itself. How stupid we are as women to believe we ever would be better than we were meant to be. I beg for your forgiveness, our great dictator Obama.
Now. There's no reason for incrimination. I know, you know that women have very limited mentalities to understand the overall scheme of what my great father, Lucifer, has in store for this world. Just try understanding happening like this. You and every woman are called, according to the Holy Bible, the harlots of Babylon. The Bible says this philosophy would corrupt men and make them slaves to women everywhere. We had limited success with this philosophy in Muslim countries, I admit. But, overall I am very happy with the outcome. Now, women will take their places again as history has shown them. Obedient to men, as Islam teaches in their Quran. I can't emphasize this enough, you are what a man says you are. Not the other way around like you've been forcing men to believe. This comes as a command from my father, Satan. Now, let's move on to the issues we face now. The war continues to rage above ground. When the radiation drops and I emerge into the world as we will find it, the only outcome will be to continue to war against the religion of Christianity. Until that time comes, we must survive here in the fallout shelters that were set up by the government during those last years I was president before Trump came in.
I wanted to ask about the reports we are receiving about an asteroid that has been detected by the Hubble telescope. What danger are we in from this new global event? Will this impact the Earth, and could this have some relevance to what the Bible says about a star called wormwood that would destroy all fresh water and kill 1/3 of all life on Earth, including all sea life?
There is evidence that this is happening right now, but where the impact will take place isn't clear. There are a few hours still left before the impact, but I've been told by NASA that this will affect North America and could actually cause another ice age. Who really cares though? There's not going to be much any life left above ground after the escalation ends, so those who are in this bomb shelter with me will be the new human race. Which means, your role, one of a few women still alive, will have to repopulate this planet again. Isn't that a wonder thought?
To serve a global dictator like you is an honor and a privilege. I took your mark of loyalty the moment you again regained your position of authority over the United Nations. Whatever is expected of me will be done without question, O great Obama. Please, command me. I await your next order.
Well, ladies and gentlemen. With that explanation, I see no other reason now for this press conference until we learn more about the fighting that still continues. Until I learn more information, we'll end this press conference until possibly the next 4 hours. So, please rest as much as you can and try finding out more from your sources so that my departments can get the information to me. The best is yet to come in this continuing fight. The Christians' rapture has happened, and when I emerge, all civilizations will worship me again and my mark will make their identification much easier. Thank you all for your attention, and now, let's get back to the war at hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, this now concludes our present coverage from Obama's bunker in Virginia. We don't know how to express our remorse over the deaths of Obama's wife, Michelle, and their children. How Obama could have survived is more easier to understand now that he has told the world how he is related to our father, Lucifer. Until very recently, no one in the world knew the relationship he had, but now we see the Pope, Francis, here with the President in the bunker, and they both are carrying out their intentions, as we all know now were part of his global plan for socialism and communism to work so beautifully. Now we see why he wanted to link up with the Cuban people, to bring their communist system into our system of government along with North Korea and China. Although everything looks as though we are fighting our own allies, this is a farce to keep those who want the lie called freedom from believing they were betrayed by our great dictator. Let's all give our allegiance to Obama by continuing to fight for his glorious rebirth in Jerusalem once the final bombs stop falling and the radiation recedes. To our audience, if you are able to receive this broadcast from a shelter or your own home, please conserve power and turn off your television until approximately 4 hours from this time, when we will bring updates from our great leader's bunker in Virginia. If you are able to continue receiving this program without restrictions, we'll be airing informative instructions on how to maintain your fallout shelter and supplies to their maximum limits. On behalf of CBS News, this is Connie Chung wishing all of you the best and safety for your family. We've all suffered during this nightmare and we're all in this together. Keep watching for additional information.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com.
This is the emergency alert system. Please continue monitoring for updates as they become available on this EAS station, or monitor radio communications on weather radio by the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration at 162.55 MHz.
Now, there is no such thing as north, south, east, or west in space. But in this image, if up is north, down is south, left is west, right is east, ISON is taking a northward trajectory far above the Earth. As you see, the Earth would be on the same orbital plane with all these other planets. And here is Earth, and some of the many, many satellites that are around it. These are just a few. Lo and behold, here is Mars Orbiter mission on a direct trajectory toward Earth's orbit. Mars is way off in the distance, way over here. Mars Orbiter mission is on its way to Earth. We already know Mars Orbiter mission is all about ISON right now. So you have to ask yourself, why is Mars Orbiter mission on its way to Earth? In my humble opinion, it has everything to do with these many asteroids, meteors, meteorites, and so forth that are going to be pelting the Earth over the next couple of months. This is going to be a very interesting ride, my friends, and I have said from the very beginning, this could be the golden censer being thrown upon the Earth. It could also include trumpets 1, 2, and 3. This was no small comet, as we were told. Just before the first trumpet takes place, Revelation 8:5, it says, "Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it on the earth. And there came peals of thunder, rumblings, and flashes of lightning, and an earthquake." Is Ison the first trumpet? Is it possible that Ison is not only the first trumpet fulfillment, but perhaps even the second and the third trumpet fulfillment? Let's look at that for a moment. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all of the green grass was burned up. The second trumpet, the angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned into blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. The third angel sounds his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky on a third of the rivers, on a third of the springs of water, and the name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that turned bitter. Ison, as it continues to go on its current trajectory, if it does, will continue to stream out debris all along the way between the sun and us until it passes our orbit, and then we are no longer affected by it until we converge with Ison's initial debris trail and are hit on both sides by two streams coming, one coming from the sunward, one coming toward the sunward. As NASA predicts. In the meantime, this trail is going to be streaming down from Ison for as long as Ison exists, all the way past the Earth. What that tells us is the Earth is going to be passing through Ison's debris for a good while. No one knows how long, and scientists cannot predict how large any of this debris is going to be. But it will range from dust particles and gases, some of which are very poisonous, some of which are innocuous, to meteorites and meteors. We know that. Does that sound like a lot of fireballs coming toward the Earth? It sounds like it to me.
Joel chapter 2, pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids. In those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will shew wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. Your thoughts on that scripture, Reverend Michelle Hopkins?
I believe that is playing out today. That the Lord's Spirit is being poured out on people all over the world. Sons and daughters are prophesying, old men and young, dreaming dreams, seeing visions. Men and women are seeing these things, visions and dreams. In fact, when I was 12 years old, I had a dream, and it was a prophetic dream, and it was about the first trumpet. Now, at 12 years old, I had never heard of the first trumpet. I didn't know the first thing about it. But I had this dream, and in this dream, I was in the city, and I could see all these fireballs coming down out of the sky. They were coming down on people, and people were being killed, and the buildings were being just absolutely destroyed by these things, and they were just, the number of them was incalculable. And I kept crying out, this is the first trumpet. The first trumpet has sound. And now, when I have been making these videos about ISIN and about why I believe we are now in the golden censer, the time of the golden censer, with these things being thrown down upon the earth, and why I believe the first, second, and third trumpet is about to sound. While I was making this, it was as if the Lord said to me, this is the fulfillment of your dream. This is you telling the world the first trumpet is about to sound.
I made this.
Whose idea was this?
His name is Omran Daknesh, just 5 years old, and his feet barely hung over the edge of a seat in an ambulance. Dazed, he didn't cry as he wiped away blood and the dust from a building that collapsed around him in an airstrike. His silence somehow reminded the world today of its silence in the face of the atrocities in Aleppo. Omran was pulled out alive Wednesday. 5 other children died when the building they were in was hit during the relentless Syrian-Russian offensive on rebel-held areas in Aleppo. The image of Omran's face spread like wildfire on the internet. One tweet called him the real representative of the Syrian people.
Stop killing Syrian innocent people, civilian. Our children need to live in peace.
The doctor who treated Omran said today there were many more severe cases no one is paying attention to.
We need to protect our hospital, our doctors, our medical workers from airstrike.
Omran is recovering. His family now wants to escape. The same choice another boy's family made a year ago, Aylan Kurdi, whose body washed up on a beach. He too was a symbol of Syria's youngest victims. Now there's a new one. Tomorrow there may be another. Richard Engel, NBC News.
They've reported from around the world, challenged the powerful, and they bring all of this to every story that breaks.
We've got breaking news, and it's good news.
And touches your heart.
How do you even say thank you? Thank you is not big enough.
I made this.
Survivors.
Apa? Apa lagi? Cerita.